Hey guys, welcome. I wanted to talk about the different reading and curriculum programs that are available for if you're just starting out, if you're in kindergarten or like a bit older, preschool, if you want to start that early. I mean, some people do delayed education, which is totally fine too, right? So if you're just starting out, these are the reading programs or curriculums that I've experienced myself and my feedback on them. So some of them I like and some of them are like, not that great, just to give you an idea. So the first one I want to talk about is one that's really well known. It's a Christian program overall, but it's not specific to any church, I guess you could say. But it's The Good and the Beautiful, and it's really well known. They have like pretty high quality materials. The materials that come are nice and they're pretty low priced. So that's a benefit of this program. But this program also has 3 different starting levels. So if you have a child that maybe has already had a little experience with letter sounds and all of that, because you don't really need a program to teach, letter sounds and letter names. Some people find it beneficial to have that, but it's not necessary. So I'll go through the first 3 levels, which would help you decide maybe what one to start with if you were just starting out with a real program. But the first one is the pre-K course book. This does letter sounds, vowels, numbers, colors, motor skills, sorting, matching, and rhyming. It's an open and go curriculum, which all of their curriculums are, which is pretty awesome. If you're a busy parent, you want to get an open and go curriculum. You don't want to get one that's going to stress you out and then you just end up not doing anything because you have too much work to do. So you want to get one that you'll actually do and actually use. And this one is, you open it, the blue writing it as instruction. I teach English, do you know that? It's instructions for the parent, and the black writing is what you would read to your student. So it tells you in the beginning what items you need, which is a bonus. Look at that there. It has really nice items needed, and it has really beautiful illustrations throughout. But it just goes through, the introduction to that. I would say this is a good introduction to letters. There's not enough practice for me to feel like this is a standalone letter introduction program. So if you only have this, I feel like it's a little lacking. Your student is going to need more practice with letters. You're going to need to add that in other ways, but you can do that with activities. It doesn't have to be with another program. You could supplement it with like a cheap workbook that you get from whatever your local store is, like a Target or like a Amazon, an Amazon, whatever you use to get your books and stuff, wherever you go. Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, whatever. Then you would maybe want to supplement this if you like the extra handwriting practice and if you like the worksheets and you like the traditional style, then you'll need to supplement this for sure. But it goes through, here they have match the first letter activities. They go through all the letters of writing them. They do some sequencing, right? Cutting practice, so that you actually can rip these out. There's nothing on the other side, obviously. You rip them out and just practice the cutting. I'm getting called. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so crisis averted. So the pre-K course, and it comes with this course book. It comes with an activity packet, which we'll get into, and it also comes with these flip books. So these letter flip books, which go through different groups of letters, and basically you just match up like the letter with whatever starts with that letter. So the B, that's not in order either, there we go. So B, big B, little b is for bird, right? So it's a fun little activity for your student to do. Just a way to play with the sounds a little more. This is something you can make on your own. Like this is something you can make on your own. And the activity pack even has a lot of games, which I feel like you could find on your own online, or you could make them pretty easily. But like, I really like these hide and seek pet games where you take one of the pets and you hide it behind a piece of furniture, and your student has to say the letter name, say the letter sound, and then they flip it over to see if where they guessed the pet is hiding is correct. And they also have the same with Mouse House. It's the same concept, but with a mouse and different letters. Okay. Then they have like Letter Cube is a game. So it's just rolling the die, right? And they have templates for dice online. And you can print them out yourself and just fill in the letters yourself. So it's something else, I mean, you could potentially make on your own. They have the Feed the Elephant activity. But like, listen to this. This is like nice quality. So if you want something that's this nicer quality that you could hold on to from child to child so you don't have to make it multiple times, it might be worth it. I mean, it's not that expensive for these different activity packs, and you can buy each thing individually. If you want just the course book, you can buy just the course book. If you want just the activity pack, you can buy just the activity pack. So they have a number slider and a couple other things. They have a letter memory game where you match up the letter and the sound, right? So I mean, I have a version of that already made. So for me, I don't know if this activity pack was worth buying for me because I have a lot of the activities already. But if you don't have anything made already and you're just starting out, this might be worth it for you. So it's good, but I don't know if it's essential at this level to have. I mean, I like that it has the extra games and has the activities. It's like a tiny step up from the regular workbooks. Like we have, for example, I don't know, I'm just going to show these later, but we have like these writing and spelling workbooks, right? Where they have you write the letter name, or write the letter, and they just have you find and circle letters, and they have some extra activities at the end as well. So it's very similar and about as thick. A little thicker. It's a little thicker, and then it has the activity pack. But this was $7.99, and I think this is like 30 something for the whole program. But it is very well thought out, whereas in maybe the workbook you would feel like it's a little lacking. The activities and everything, it's pretty well thought out. The activity, I mean, these type of workbooks get repetitive, but I'm off topic anyway. So that was just the pre-K course book. Next is the Level K primer. That's the next step up. This is for right before they're supposed to start kindergarten. But it says master the letters, master numbers 1 through 15, learn long and short vowels, read simple words, rhyming, sorting, and more. So you're already starting to read in the Level K primer, and it's basically the same thing again. So, but they do the letters in a different order in this one. So here they do like A and T together so they can start reading at, and then they'll add the C so they can write cat, right? But it's the same idea, but it is a step more complicated. So if you have a more advanced preschooler, or you might want to start with something like this. Okay, and it does reinforce it more than the pre-K course book. Okay, so it does go pretty fast, jumping just straight into reading. So here we're only on lesson 3, and it says, so you're singing the alphabet. You have the child cut out the letters on the following page. So you have cutting practice, which you also have in the pre-K course book. Then have the child say the sound and name of each letter. Have the child put the vowels in order, A, E, I, O, U, sometimes Y, several times. And have the child trace the letter starting at the purple dot, following, so it shows them how to draw it themselves, how to write it. This one's good because it's adding it doesn't go in alphabetical order. So I do prefer this method because then they can gain a little confidence. Like, hey, I know that word, right? And they can start building on, like they can start making associations more with letter sounds and words, because when they start doing that, every time they see the word at now, they're going to be like, I can read that word. And it's just, I feel like this approach is better because it lets them apply what they're learning in the real world. So it's more easy to practice. It's easier to practice. And it just makes more sense to me to do it in that way. But so this one's, I would say, a step up from the other one. And this one comes with my first reading book, Level K Primer course. Okay, so it just comes with a little reader. It also comes with a downloadable MP3 as well, with an album on it. So if you're a student, doesn't have any experience with reading, like The Good and the Beautiful always, it seems a little like they made the reading levels, at least, they're very difficult. How do I explain it? They're very difficult. So like if your student is supposed to be in 2nd grade, they might only be on a grade 1 reading level or a level 1 reading level for The Good and the Beautiful. If your child's in 1st grade, they might be in level K or what have you. But I think they're a little bit more advanced. So this is Level K Primer. So this is before you go into kindergarten. And it does come with like a disclaimer, like, children are not meant to master, not expected to master any principles taught in this course except for instantly recognizing all the letters and their sounds. This course is an introduction to reading and principles such as long vowels. So this is, like I said, just an introduction. I do think if you're starting from nothing, it's good to start at least with this level, if not the pre-K level. I think this level would be fine. The next level up from that, this is going to be such a long video. The next level up from that is the Level K course book. Okay, Level K course book. Looks like this. This is their official, you're in school now, let's take it a look. Like, this is a bit heavier than the other course books. So just to give you an idea, yeah, it's a bit heftier than the other one. Not too much more, but a bit more. And even more so than the pre-K one. But in this one, your student is already reading. Essentially, they should know all of their letter sounds by now. So lesson 1 starts with 2-letter words. Okay, so part 1 is 2-letter words. And it has beautiful, illustrations still. Okay, and these are the starting out. Got some writing practice in there. Lesson 2. Right. So this one is a bit more than the other two. It is also more in depth. But like I said, these are pretty challenging. This program is pretty rigorous compared to other programs I've seen, at least. So if you're more of a traditional homeschooler, this could be a good option for you. Okay, so it comes with this course book, which goes through, by lesson 107, right, you're already in the ED endings. Okay. 222. They have a writer's workshop later on, lesson 114, right? So it does get into writing more. It is definitely a traditional homeschool. Then you have, along with that, it comes with phonics cards, which are nice. Just give you an idea. So it has the letter on the front and the letter sounds and an example with each of those sounds on the back. Okay, and those phonics cards, it says You would do phonics cards 1 through 58 in level K. Grade 1 would need 1 through 24, and grade 2 is 164 cards that it comes with. So you use these same cards for kindergarten, first, and second. Okay, so it comes with the phonics cards. It also comes with mini books. We haven't gotten into these yet, so I don't really have them set up yet, but you cut it in the middle here and then just, staple it together. So it comes front and back, but I want you to see how beautiful these illustrations are. Like, they have regular pictures too in some of the mini books, but there's different styles of illustration, and it's all really well done. It's glossy paper. It's not very thick, so these are for older kids that are maybe a little bit better with their materials. You can get the downloadable version of the curriculum, which sometimes I wish I did, because I do the HP ink, which is a must-have if you are a homeschooler. If you have we'll talk about that another time. But you can get the PDF downloads, and then if you rip it, you can just download it again, or download it and then, or print it again. You can print it again. So that's it for Good and Beautiful. You can also, actually, I lied. Okay, so you can also get these boxed book sets too, to go with it. I mean, and there's like another supplement material, but you don't really need it. They also have these boxed book sets if you want something that can go along with all the things they've learned in the different levels, and they're illustrated really well too. But their books are really tiny, to give you an idea. Like, look at these. But it comes with, I think, 10. I think it's 10. Oh yeah, it's 10. So it comes with 10 in each box. I have both box A and box B. Just because I want to make sure that if we're reading stuff, it kind of goes with what we've learned so far. So this box A uses simple 2 to 3 letter words and a short list of sight words. And they have a first page of each book that helps a student memorize before they start, a little review for what they need for sight words. Okay, so they have a little list in the front for sight word practice. Okay, but yeah, so these are nice. A nice addition. And then I also have the books for box B. Blech. And these are the same simple 2 to 3 letter words, a short list of sight words, and words are with AR and EE. So this one has a little bit more advanced, I guess. Okay. So that's it, for real, this time, of the Good and the Beautiful, at least. The next curriculum I wanted to talk about is another traditional style curriculum. It is the All About Reading. This one, All About Reading. You've probably heard of this one. This, I think, is my favorite out of all of them, because I feel like I've gotten the best results out of this one. The lessons are very straightforward. It's not overly complicated for no reason, and it's just practicing, and then it builds a little bit at a time. And now my battery's dying, of course. This video has been very complicated to get done. First video is always like that, right? Okay, so All About Reading is a more traditional approach as well, just like the Good and the Beautiful. These are probably the two more traditional programs. But this one is the same. It's open and go. They give you tile sheets which have magnets on the back. I don't really use them because we just use our letters instead, because I wanted to keep the colors the same, because with the letters, the consonants are red and the vowels are blue, With the tiles, it's the other way around, I think, and that's why I decided not to use them. Need to check that now. It's been a while. But so we usually use the little letters instead, and it comes with vowel cards and word cards. Did I bring them in here? I did not. It's fine. It's vowel cards and word cards. Nothing special. Okay, so those are just essentially flashcards for the sounds that they learn, but it also comes with a activity book for the students. So Blast Off into Reading is the activity book. I actually have the old version of the teacher's manual and the books themselves, so mine are still in black and white. The new ones are in color. Oh, should have waited, but even though I paid like the same as would be to get the whole program, because I thought it was good to, reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, whatever, buy from someone who already had it so that they can get rid of it, make money back, and then, yeah. Anyway, so the activity book has a words taught in previous lesson section, and it has the phrases and they add on top of each other, and just some activities that go with the stories and with the sounds they learned. And I don't know, I think it works. This program works. It's not the most beautiful program, at least not the old one. Maybe the new one's a lot nicer because it's in color. It's not the most beautiful though, I don't think. But it works, and that's what matters. So we have an example here. This is Cobweb and the Cat. This is one of the books. It comes with 3, I think. And it goes over the same sounds, each story that they have to read after, I don't know how many lessons. They do a few lessons in a row, and then they have a story that they read. And that story will repeat everything that they learned in the lessons. I like that it gives you real stories, real stories to read that are go directly with the lessons. It makes the most sense to me. This is, I think, the best program by far because of that. Because mainly just that. Because they're making those associations, and they don't have to go out into the real world and try to find extra material that copies exactly what they've learned. They do that for you. So you save more time, which is really what you need to do when you're homeschooling. You need to save as much time as possible. This program works. I like it. I recommend it. I did not start teaching my kids to read until he was I think Silas was around 6 when he started to learn. Or maybe 5, late 5 or 6. 5 or 6. Somewhere in there. So we didn't do the learn all your letter sounds in preschool. We learned our letters in preschool, but I do believe your kid will tell you when they're ready. So for my son, he's in 1st grade, and he's still in this Blast Off into Read, or this All About Reading level 1 program. He's still in the level 1, and it works for him. And I think that the good and the beautiful, if he tried to do the kindergarten program now, it would be maybe a little even more difficult for him. I don't know. He's reading more than I think he is. So it's hard to really gauge at this point. But I think he could probably do it. It might just be a little challenging for him. I'll have to try and get back to you. But like I said, I like this program. It's good. Highly recommended. And I like the sounded word flashcards too. They're really simple. Oh, I wish they bought them. I didn't bring them in here. I don't feel like going to get them, guys, sorry. But they're just plain cards with the letter sound on it or a word on it, and your student reads it. Green and yellow cards, black writing, simple. Perfect, because they're not distracting. There's no way for you to get distracted from just looking at a card that's completely green with writing on it. So there's no extra, the extra colors and pictures and all of that. It's great, it's beautiful, but are they paying attention more to the picture than the word? Maybe. Maybe they're memorizing the picture, not the word. So this way you know they're looking at the word and they're remembering the word. So those cards are a better option, I think. The Blast Off into Reading also comes with a progress chart that you can add the stars to as your student goes along, and then at the end they have a complete, I've seen lots of kids on Instagram holding their little progress chart with all of the stars filled in. I don't know if you do a reward system or something, maybe they have like a special date with you or something but when they finish that, or you do some type of celebration, or maybe you go to the beach or something. Whatever you guys decide to do, you could use that as a way to celebrate them finishing a level. I know in homeschool, one of the things we don't really have is moving, kindergarten to first grade. I mean, if you homeschool year round like we do, it kind of just blurs together, like everything's just one thing, just progress. So that's a nice thing about it, is it really helping them keep track of, oh, I finished this now, and they get that sense of accomplishment from finishing something. So I think that's nice too. So next up is pretty far away from American traditional schooling. I don't know if it would traditional schooling all over the world, probably not. But the next one I wanted to talk about is a Waldorf-inspired curriculum, and it covers all the subjects that they need. And I'm doing a blend right now for Emrys, who is in preschool. I'm doing a blend of the Oak Meadow curriculum and the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. Like a little bit of a blend. Like, we're eclectic. We like to mix it up. So the one we're using right now is this. It is Waldorf inspired. This is an older version. I also got this used. Buy your curriculum used. We don't need to print more curriculum, and you save money. Bonus. Oh, why not? Okay, so if you go to, in the beginning, they teach you about, the way that they would suggest you use the curriculum like they usually do. They give you a daily rhythm. So this is based, I like this curriculum, is based on a daily rhythm. Okay, creating a daily rhythm. There's not much in the way of pictures in the actual syllabus. This is for you to read and choose activities for. And they lay it out for you that way. So, let me give you an example. So they do lesson 2, tell you circle time. They give you the poem that you repeat every single day so your student can learn to recite poems and to build their memory a little bit. And they have a closing verse. Then they have the morning main lesson. It's up here first. Morning main lesson is the letter sounds. So you might have seen these before. Is putting a letter with a letter sound image. So they have B with the bear. They have some activities. On the next page is they have a poem about butterflies, and they have B with butterflies. Then they have the mathematics in here, introducing the number 1. There's a lot of storytelling. So the story of One Big Sun. Then they have creative play time, an afternoon hour. They give you some activities for science, what you can do with that. They have stories in here. So the reason I like this curriculum is that it seems to honor childhood in a way, that they focus on fairy tales, fables, myths, legends. They focus on these things, and they really dig into that like playful spirit of children that believes in magic, and they really try to pull that out of them as a way for them to learn. And it encourages the subjects to be taught informally. So with a program like this, it's very gentle. If you have a student who needs very gentle learning, this would be a good option for you. It creates a plan for the rhythm of the day, and once your child gets into that rhythm and it's not forced, they might be more open to learning. Many children don't want to sit at a table and look at a book or do worksheets or anything like that. This is a good alternative for those kids. They just don't learn that way. And the one thing I have to say, the one thing I don't love about it is that it follows the seasons, which is great for people who have seasons. We live in Florida, and there's not much in way of seasons, right? We have hurricane season and like slightly cooler winter, and love bug season, and red tide season, and don't go in the water because there's bacteria in it season. I don't know. We don't have like seasons like we did when I was in the north, and part of me is like, let's just move back to the north. I want to be like more in tune with the seasons, but I know when I get there I'm going to be miserable because I hate the cold. Anyway, that's aside. But so it follows the seasons. If you're somewhere that has the seasons, this is really beautiful, and you can have the activities, all the activities for all the seasons laid out for you. This program, however, is not necessarily open and go. You will need to get some materials together. It has stories in it. It has a list of the materials you need, but you will need painting supplies, and you will need odds and ends to do crafts to help reinforce it. It is very art based too. So if you have a student who's really into art, this is a great creative way to go about that. It's very heavy in storytelling and arts. So if you have kids that are into those things, it would probably be good for them. It comes with a few books for the actual stories. You'll have the fairy tales, so it'll tell you, okay, main lesson 1 would be the B as in bear, right? For that lesson, you're going to be reading, here it has a letter list, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It uses a lot of traditional stories, okay, to teach these lessons. So the first one's The Tale of Peter Rabbit with A. I don't know if I like this one for A. I did A for alligator instead. And we drew like the alligator mouth with the A in it instead, because I didn't feel like this one worked as well. But we also did this one as like a reinforcement of it. It's 2 different A sounds anyway. But yeah, so it has the pictures. This has the real pictures from the storybook too, so I don't know how that works, but it has some beautiful illustrations to it. There are other Waldorf-inspired curriculums. One of them would be, I can't think of the name. There are other Waldorf-inspired curriculums. However, I don't think that any of them come with a storybook that has the images in it. If they do, let me know, because I really like that it comes with the images. I have a horrible memory. I know Waldorf is more about storytelling, and I try to do that as best I can because they want you to have that connection with your child when you're telling the story, looking in their eyes and helping them feel it. But I have a very, 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 very challenging memory. Very bad memory. So for me, it was, I enjoy that this curriculum comes with the images. Hold on, let me take this off. Anyway, so I'm glad that it comes with these images so that I don't have to, so that there's something going on while I'm reading. Okay. The other book it comes with is the first book of crafts. So this gives you all of the crafts for the curriculum. So here's a wind waver. Right. Is that what you call wind waver? Yeah. Wind chime mobile. So it has some great ideas for crafts that go along with what you're teaching. And I think that's nice. I mean, if you're a really artsy person, like I said, this does take planning. This does take time. So be warned. I've fallen off this one a couple times. Like, I tried to do this one with my first child, and because I had my younger one at the time, I couldn't do it. No, I'm really trying with the second one. And this is actually less demanding than some of the other curriculums. So, that are Waldorf, anyway. It also comes with a process manual. So, if you... Okay, so how about record playing? So a recorder playing. So they suggest that you start with a recorder. I bought a recorder and have not learned yet because you have to learn before they do. So instead we've been doing piano because I know a little bit of piano. So use what you know, right? Then they show you the way that they suggest you draw a tree, right? When you're doing Waldorf, you don't want to use, you know, the outlines. Like, nothing is really outlines, and they want to help children see this, right? When you see a person, they don't have a black outline around their head, right? There's no, like, lines in nature. So, in that way. So they want you to build it up organically. They don't want this. They want to get children away from this, and they want to get them building it up organically instead. Which is I like that approach to art. They even have like some instructions for crocheting. I mean, I have boys, and I know some boys are really open to learning these kinds of things. My boys don't seem interested, and I don't want to force it. So, I mean, I know how to crochet. I crochet in front of them all the time. At least I used to. But they haven't really shown an interest. So it's all about finding what works for your family, though they do have ideas in this book for the process manual and the book of crafts. And the last book it comes with is The Heart of Learning. I love this book. So this is a philosophy of the way children learn and the way that they develop. It explains why they do delayed education in Waldorf training. You aren't supposed to, in a Waldorf education, start teaching the letters and the letter sounds until your student is around, I think, 7 years old. Like the end of 6, beginning of 7 years old. So we started earlier, and I feel like that's just because, well, for Silas we started around the time. I think we started at 6. Yeah. But students typically start around 6 or 7, I think 6, to learn the letter sounds and all of that. And that's because they don't want to push education on children who are not developmentally ready for it yet. I started earlier with my other son on The Good and the Beautiful because he asked me to, because he saw his older brother doing it and he wanted to do it too. Even though maybe it was just to earn the stickers for his chart. But he said he wanted to do it, and I'm not going to say no. So I started him because he asked me to. Otherwise, I probably would not have started teaching him the letter sounds until he was at least 6 years old, and he's not there yet. So it talks about, what the psychology of a child really is, and how maybe we can change the way we look at things to help the education process. And I think a big part of being a teacher is being able to look at yourself constantly. Don't put yourself down, don't nitpick at yourself, but to be able to look at yourself and be objective to what you're doing and how you're teaching something and if it's working, and if maybe you need to relax a little bit more, or if you need to encourage a little bit more. Right? So it's about being able to see that relationship constantly, and I think this book really helps in showing that and teaching that. I have not finished it yet. I am horrible at finishing books. Anybody else like me? Yeah. I used to read books nonstop all the time, every day of my life, before I had kids, and now I lose my attention span a lot. So if it's not in an audiobook, it's hard for me to finish. Because for audiobooks, you can put it on when you do the laundry, and when you're doing chores, and when you're, when you're cleaning, when you're pretty much doing anything except for teaching and taking care of your, interacting with your kids and stuff. But anyway, so I highly recommend The Heart of Learning by Meadow. It's a good book. It's a good book, and I do like the curriculum, and I am really hoping I have the discipline to make it through that curriculum with my younger son, because there's something beautiful about how warm the process is, how warm the approach is to learning. So that's that one. The next one I want to talk about is the 5 in a row curriculum. So 5 in a row is a whole package curriculum, right? And they teach through stories. So it does not. So the Waldorf Oak Meadow, that one teaches the letter sounds by teaching the letters and the associations that you make with it, and that teaches through story a lot. But it does focus on the letter sounds a bit, whereas the Oak Meadow, or the 5 in the row one, instead focuses on literary devices, just literature comprehension, and different parts of literature. It just focuses on literature, okay? It focuses more on that than on learning how to read. So this might be a good supplement if you're doing a program that only focuses on reading. This is good for the literature learning through literature aspect of it. So for example, the story about Ping, right? This is the first one we're doing. It's the first one in the book and the first one we're doing. So it has a social studies lesson about relationships and discernment. Okay, then it has a geography lesson about China, and a culture lesson, social studies culture, and a literature lesson, what is a classic story? And then they talk about what fiction is. Then they have literary devices, repetition. And they have an art medium, an art lesson, art, drawing, water, an art viewpoint, a art unity of theme through subjects, composition for art. Okay, this is all still just that one book right now. We have a math lesson, counting skills, the animal kingdom, buoyancy, reflection of light, and it gives you a lesson for each of these. So this is really great for people who don't want like a whole lot of books to buy for a curriculum, right? You can just buy this book, and maybe I would suggest doing a supplemental reading program if it's important for you that they're learning all the letter sounds and all of that over time. So this would be a good option for people who don't want to buy a lot. However, there's a however. So this is not open and go, right? I had to get this book from the library, this one that we're studying first. You have to be able to find the books for this. This is the next one we're doing. Find the books themselves. Then you have to gather all the materials for all of the lessons, because it just gives you what the activities you can do. It does not offer packages where you can buy all of the materials that you will need. So it does take some preparation on our part as parents. For our part as parents. I teach English. Okay. Okay. So this is good for people who want flexibility. However, this is good for people who want flexibility. You can do it in as little as 30 minutes a day or many hours a day. It depends on how many lessons that you choose for each book, for each lesson. And they say do it over a week. So 1 book per week is the idea. And there are 19 books. I think so. So I guess you could do it like over longer than a week. It depends on how long or how fast you want to get through this curriculum. And I mean, that as a homeschooler, that's all up to you. Unless you have requirements by your state. But in Florida, all we have to do is show progress. So as long as you're making progress, you're good. So this one's great. Love it. It's a full thing, but it's not open and go. It has a lot of flexibility. Pick and choose what you want. There's different lessons for different subjects, like the many lessons in art and social studies, but not open and go at all. Other options for people who maybe don't want to spend like much at all on programs. I mean, you could get something like this, the Brain Quest workbook. Yay! For this level, you could just do this and work on them with letters and letter sounds and putting them together. You don't need a curriculum. This is only $13, right? I'm not sponsored, by the way, by any of these things. I wish. Okay, so it has, the same type of thing that you would get in The Good and the Beautiful. It has like writing practice. It has letter sound practice. So if you go to the next section, has letter sound practice, I as in igloo, J as in jar, right? Then it has practice with making words, spelling, and vocabulary. It has number practice. Okay, so this has a lot. This does come with a lot of information. And squares and shapes, and there's math in here, 3D shapes, 2D shapes, finding things, like there's a lot of fun activities in there for them too. The hours, they even have time in here. Is it enough? It depends on you. It depends on your kid. It depends on how many extra activities you do with them. That's not a part of the worksheet. Check it off, the to-do list type teaching. Okay, if you go outside and you play with chalk on the street and you write the letters and jump the letter sounds and run the letter sounds, and you use clay to make letters and practice the sounds and objects that start with that and play games like go find me a object that starts with the letter A. Go find me that object that ends with the letter T, right? You can do these types of things with little kids. You don't need a program for when you're first starting out. Once you get reading, I mean, it's good to have some written word at least, though. And writing and spelling, right? So you could do something like this. Here it has all the letter sounds. And they have opposites and which word. Right? So there's a lot of these workbooks in your local stores, which are not bad. I mean, they're not great, but they're not bad. I mean, this is $8. That's all you have right now. It's not a bad investment. You can also find a lot of free stuff everywhere on the internet. The internet is amazing, but you have to print it if you need to print it, and sometimes it's cheaper just to buy the cheapo books. There's more books I have that are the cheaper ones, but some other programs I did not like. Okay. So, it's not awful. It's not... Everyone seems so excited about this program. This one's Dash Into Reading. I've seen this all over Instagram, and I loved the images, right? They're so beautiful. I love the artwork in it. I'm a sucker for artwork. Come on, like, it's beautiful. Gives you like an old-timey feel. It's very soft. Okay. This is book 2, however. And look at how much it has going on. So I felt like maybe I'm wrong and maybe I read it wrong, but I felt like the dash into the reading program made it sound like you were going into reading, right? Like you're just starting. But they don't have a ton of practice, right? There's no like letter sound practice, nothing like that really when you're first starting out. This is the first thing you have here. Okay, step 1, sounds. Just gives you all those sounds at first, and that's just too many for a first book, at least for my kids. I feel like you're going to get frustrated when you have to learn, you know, you're 6 years old, it's your first time reading, and you have to learn 7 different letter sounds at one time and then try to put them together in the first book already, you know. Maybe it's just me. But I felt like there just wasn't enough. It does come with downloadables that go along with it. They're here somewhere too. I'll show it on my computer because they're all over the place, those ones. But it does come with downloadables, and they're great. I mean, they're a good practice too. There's some creative activities in there, some repetitive activities in there too. But it just doesn't feel like enough to me for it to be a standalone reading program. It is not a standalone reading program at all. Had to go run and get this next one. So this is our last program, full program that I want to do. I do have a game to talk about as well. We'll get to that. So the last program I want to do is the 4 weeks to read. Okay. So this is by Learning Dynamics. It didn't strike my fancy. It didn't float my boat. Nope. So, and I think primarily that's because it just drove me so insane in the beginning, because all of the songs sound exactly the same. They sound the same. And I don't know how that's helpful when you're trying to make a melody association to try to remember a letter sound or something like that. It's, if all the sounds sound the same, if all the songs English. If all the songs sound the same, I don't know how that can be helpful. If it is helpful, because you're not making those associations, right? So the first letter they do is M, which makes sense to me. I like that. Okay, good. So far, so good. And they give you a little lesson manual. So you listen to the song and you point at the words while they're singing the song. You have letter A, like alligator, right? It says, show the child the blue letter card and say, this is the letter A. There's a big A and a small A. It says ah. What letter is this, right? What does it say? Good, right? So you go through and you say all of these, you say the sound over and over and over again. It's supposed to help it stick. I get it. Okay. So they give you a story. Andrew Alligator was sleeping. He felt so snugly and warm in his blanket. Mother came to give him a bath. She took off his blanket, and all at once, Andrew Alligator was so cold, all he could do was cry. Ah, ah. Ace says, ah. Can you sound like Andrew Alligator? So kind of cute, right? But got to the music. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so maybe that's my fault, but here, jeez. So point to the words as you sing the letter song. Okay, it goes through all of that. So they do that for all of the sounds. Okay, that's pretty much all it is. There's not like a lot more going on in here. And then they have worksheets. Okay. That's for the lesson manual. Then they have the student workbook. Okay, just very basic, very tiny, very basic. Okay, not bad. And they have these little flashcards that go with it. So here's Andrew the alligator, right? When you were saying the letter sound, you point at the blue letter card that they give you. So they give you one of these, they give you one of these, and then they give you one of the, if I find him, can't find him right now, here's the mouse. And they give you one of these to give to the children as like a token. Like, you learned M, good job. Right? Where do you think these are gonna end up? Like, everywhere. Like, I don't know. Maybe I could find a more creative way to deal with this. Like, maybe I could have them put it in a chart. That would be a good idea maybe for me. But, I don't know. I think the music just turned me off. Anyway, it's not all bad because they do give you, look at all this. All these books, all these early readers. This is where the good stuff is. Right here. Okay? So, they go in order, different levels. And they add a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. So if you look at, let's see, it's book 22. Let me see if I can find my book. Okay, my kid must have taken some of these out. Oh, here they are. Okay. So book 1, Pam, right? You know the letter sounds now, so you're able to read Pam. This is where the good stuff is. Pam. Okay. Hat, bag. Sam. That's it, guys. You read book 1. That was all of book 1. But you know what? Can't knock it. It's a good idea. Then they add just a little bit at a time. So by book 13, you're here. Okay, so I like the gradual learning with this, the gradual learning of the words and how, you know, like book 1 is here. Let's see, book 2. Right, they just add a little bit to what they read already. And because it adds on such a small amount each book, it helps build confidence. And that's super important for learning how to read. It's the confidence factor. If I can use these as a supplement to what we do with this. So I'll look for what he knows already with this. And then I'll go into these and find the ones that, okay, he already knows these. You want to set them up for success. He knows these already. I want to have him practice what he knows. Then I'll use these. So that's how I've been using this with my first grader. And they have, like, that's just the blue level. Then they have different levels all the way up. So this is the red level to give you an idea. Okay. So they work up to a decent amount of reading. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. And the last thing, so like, would I buy this? I might still, for the fact that the readers are great. The readers build a little bit at a time, which I love. I don't know. I think it was $100, like $99 or something like that. So I think they could have done without a lot of the other stuff, made it a little less expensive, and you'd be perfect right there. So $100 is a bit of more of an investment for sure. But I do really love that the readers build on each other so well. And it's just extra material for me for these readers. So, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about, which I think is super cool. It's not a curriculum in itself at all. Actually, it's not a curriculum. But it is the blah, blah, blah phonics card game. Ooh. So if you have a new reader, these might be worth getting. Okay. It's kind of like Uno. It goes over the letter sounds instead, and they have different levels based on your different level reader. Okay, so here it says The easy deck is 76 word cards, and the medium deck is 74 word cards. It's purple, and the hard deck is the pink with 74 cards. Okay, so here's the rules for the back. So match single letters for the easy deck. Match cards that have a matching letter. For example, the B in bed with the B in bin, or the T in hat with the T in tug. So you're able to put down that card. The order of the letter doesn't matter, just has to have it. Medium deck, in addition to single letters, challenge by matching double vowels. So they give you the double vowels that you can match. And then the hard deck is match multi-consonants and sound-alikes. So in addition to single letter and double letter vowels, possible matches include the sound-alikes and the double. Oh, geez. There you go. Okay. Then they also have, like, you know, the next player draws 2 cards, or draw 4 cards, or miss their turn, and a wild card. So they still have like a lot of that like Uno feel to it, which is fun. And it's the same. The first player to get rid of all their cards wins. So I think that's it. Oh my god. How long is this video? So thanks for sticking through it. Should have said this in the beginning. But I'll put links to where I got everything. No, they're not affiliate links. I don't think I'll have any affiliate links. I'll put a pop-up if I ever get affiliate links for it. But I'll put links to where you can get these things below. And let me know if you have any curriculums that you recommend for just starting out early levels. Bleh, for reading or just curriculum in general. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Level K course book. Not level K. Pre-K course book has alright. And I actually skipped this, so I'll go back. And it's basically the same thing again. So, parents, I teach English. Okay. Okay, had to go and get this. The songs, you can just open it and then, teeth. English. If all the sounds sound. Brain. You could just open it and then, no, you don't need any prep for it to get started. This classic air mouth. Yeah. Okay. So this is, you know what? Maybe we should do take 2.